Hi, this is Leslie at All Star Custom Bling, and today I'm going to show you how to iron on an all rhinestone transfer using your household iron. In your package you received from us, you're going to have your rhinestone transfer. You're going to have some extra rhinestones. You're going to have a piece of parchment paper, which we're going to use for our cover sheet, and you're going to have a tip sheet that's going to talk about supplies needed and just some helpful tips, and then what to do before we get started. Pressing over your shirt to find the center, and where to find our videos. So go ahead and read over this sheet and get your shirt ready and find the center, and then we will get started. The first thing you want to do before we iron on the transfer is just to take a look over the rhinestones, and you want to make sure that you don't have any bad rhinestones. That's why we included some extra rhinestones for you, so that if you find any bad rhinestones in the design, you can go ahead and remove them. All you have to do is just peel this plastic back, peel off that rhinestone, and then just replace it with a good one. Sometimes rhinestones, they might be misshaped, or the glue's not good on the back, or some of it's missing. Just take a quick glance over, make sure all the rhinestones look good for you, and then we'll go ahead and get started ironing. Now that you've checked the transfer and made sure all the rhinestones look good, you've checked to make sure that none of the rhinestones shifted and everything looks just like you want it, you are going to find that there is probably 4 pieces of clear tape on there. We just put these on there to help with shipping, just to make sure the transfer doesn't shift a lot during shipment. So go ahead and just peel those pieces off. There should be 4, one on each corner. This one's going to be a little stubborn here. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so the next thing you're going to want to do is we want to find the center of the transfer. The easiest way to do that, you can eyeball it, of course. You can measure it with a ruler, however you want to do it. We just fold and crease the center to mark it. So just make sure you can see what I'm doing here. So what we do is just peel this up gently, and then you want to find where the center is based on the design, and then you just want to crease the bottom and you want to crease the top, and that's going to show us where we want to line this up on the shirt. After you've found the center of the design, we're going to gently peel this off the backing paper. So you just want to gently peel it off. Okay. After we're done peeling this off, you want to throw this backing paper away, because if you touch this with your iron, it will melt and make a big mess. So go ahead and throw that away. And then we're going to take our transfer and we're going to place it on our shirt. Now remember, you've already found the center of your shirt. So here's our center line, and we have the center of the transfer marked. You can see there's a little mark right there and a little fold mark right there. So we want to take this transfer, we want to lay it down on the shirt about where you want it. Don't press it all the way down yet. So you want to lay it down. You want to line it up. Down here, you want to line up the creases, and you want to line up the creases up here. Make sure it's like you want it. Make sure the placement from the neckline to the design is how you want it. We usually go about 2 inches down for a crew neck and about 1 inch down for a V-neck or scoop neck. So once you have the design, just make sure it looks good. Gently press it down with your hands. Make sure all the rhinestones are in place and look like you want them. Now you're going to take your piece of parchment paper that was included in your package, and you don't have to cover this since it does have this plastic piece. I just find it is better to cover it, so that's why I suggest doing it. So go ahead and take your piece of parchment paper, and we're just going to lay it over the design like that. And now you're going to take your iron. Now when you're ironing, you don't want to do any kind of movement like this. You don't want to move it at all. All you want to do is you take your iron, you place it right down on the shirt, and you're going to hold it in place for 10 to 12 seconds. Now you're going to lift it up, you're going to move it over, and place it right back down for 10 to 12 seconds. And make sure when you're ironing that you are ironing over the design. You can see the design through this parchment paper, so you should be able to tell where the design is. So make sure that when you place the iron on this, it is on top of the design. So hold in place, firm pressure for 10 to 12 seconds. Now you want to pick it up, move it over, and put right back down. And you're going to repeat that process until you've ironed over the entire design. After you are done ironing over the design, remove your piece of parchment paper, and now we're going to remove the plastic backing off of the rhinestones. So this is going to be hot, so be careful. So you want to gently just lift off, and you want to make sure that the rhinestones are not peeling off with this plastic. You want to make sure that they are staying on the shirt. If any of the rhinestones are not staying on the shirt, you want to press this back down with your hand, cover it back up with your parchment paper, and iron over it again. So let's go ahead and peel this off. So far so good. Okay, if all the rhinestones stayed in place, then we have successfully ironed it on, and then you can throw that piece of plastic away. Now what I like to do is to make sure that just using the household iron is not as good as a heat press, so I recommend ironing over the design again on the top side. So go ahead and take your piece of parchment paper. We're going to place back down over the entire design, and then we're going to iron over it again. So get your iron, find the design on the shirt, you're going to put the iron down, and remember not to move it, hold it in place for 10 to 12 seconds. So we're going to pick it up, move it over, and press right back down. And hold in place for 10 to 12 seconds. So go ahead and repeat that process until you've ironed over the entire design again. Now that you've ironed over the design again, go ahead and remove your piece of parchment paper. And now the design is ironed on the front of the shirt. So what we want to do next is turn the shirt wrong side out. And you want to make sure the design is on this side. We're going to iron the back of the design, so make sure that design is facing you on the underneath. Now you're going to take your piece of parchment paper, and you're going to lay it over the back of the design. And on this side, we're going to iron for only 5 seconds. So get your iron, and you can feel, if you can't see where the design is, you can feel it. Press your iron down, we want to hold in place for 5 seconds. Lift up, move over, and press right back down and hold in place for 5 seconds. And go ahead and repeat that process until the entire design is ironed over from the back side. Now that you've ironed over the back of the design, go ahead and remove the parchment paper, and we're going to turn the shirt right side out. Just flip it back over. And you are all done. You have made yourself a beautiful rhinestone shirt, custom with your son's player number or whatever design you purchased, of course. So that's it. Make sure you follow the instructions that we included for washing and care instructions. And thank you for watching our video, and we'll see you next time.